Book 2, Chapter 4, The Shadow Cartographers. The inner quintet's visits to Tartarus and other primary shipyards underscored the monumental task of scaling production from Earth's core Genesis lab to a galaxy-spanning hidden fleet. But even as Angel Fleet dreadnoughts and demon units began to take form in these gargantuan stellar foundries, the future of the Deception rested on a desperate, ongoing gamble, finding more such havens. This was the relentless, thankless mission of the Deep Reach explorers. Their mandate was absolute: locate perfectly hidden, resource-rich stellar anomalies, or face eradication if they failed to maintain impenetrable secrecy. These were no ordinary spacefarers. Many were children of the builders, inheritors of a quiet, unshakable loyalty, their lives groomed for unimaginable solitude. Among the most renowned was Captain Eva Rostova, a stoic woman whose eyes held the endless expanse of the void she'd traversed for decades. Her family, rooted deeply in the Tartarus yard, was her silent motivation. She operated a custom-built explorer vessel, the Eventide Echo, a small, needle-like craft bristling with advanced cloaking technology that made Charon's ferry seem almost overt. Its hull absorbed all known sensor pings, its drive signatures were mere ghosts in subspace, and its internal systems ran on near-zero emissions. Eva's co-pilot was not human, but Xylar 7, a highly advanced sentient AI. Not a demon, but a specialized exploration unit. Xylar 7 processed astronomical data faster than any organic mind, maintained vigilance for centuries without fatigue, and served as Eva's sole companion through the vast, empty dark. It was a partnership of absolute trust, forged in the crucible of isolation and shared purpose. Their journeys pushed the boundaries of known space and human endurance. Missions often spanned decades, traversing uncharted nebulae, volatile asteroid fields, and the gravitational eddies of rogue planets, where time itself seemed to stretch and distort. Food was recycled, air was perpetually scrubbed, and the only news of the galactic war came in infrequent, heavily encrypted bursts from Earth, decades out of date. The psychological toll was immense. Many explorers succumbed to void madness, succumbing to the crushing loneliness or the paranoia of perpetual detection. Eva Rostova, however, was anchored by her purpose, by the faint, encrypted messages she occasionally exchanged with her family, a lifeline through the endless night. Their methods of discovery were a complex dance of advanced technology and clandestine intelligence. Xylar 7's hypersensitive scanners could detect unique subspace anomalies, trace faint signatures of dark matter concentrations, and analyze stellar phenomena that hinted at naturally shielded pockets of space. Simultaneously, the network of Shadow Cartographers, established by Ambassador Valerius's predecessors, continued their silent work. These were deep cover agents, often alien, manipulated or bribed, who fed humanity data on unexplored territories, obscure resource charts, and the ever-shifting patrol routes of hostile empires. A seemingly innocuous data packet about a newly discovered mineral deposit could, after layers of analysis by Earth's hidden intelligence, reveal a perfect, isolated cavern for a future shipyard. But such information came at a price. The Deep Reach explorers navigated a constant minefield of near misses and silent sacrifices. There were moments of heart-stopping terror, a sudden, unexpected alien patrol jump pointing into their hidden nebula, or a malfunctioning cloaking field threatening to expose them. Eva Rostova learned to make split-second decisions, executing evasive maneuvers that pushed the Eventide Echo to its limits, deploying advanced counter-sensor flares that mimicked benign cosmic phenomena. And then there were the unrecorded losses. Sometimes, an alien civilian vessel would stray too close to a potential site, its crew unwittingly glimpsing something they shouldn't. Sometimes, a bribed alien asset, having served their purpose, became a liability. The Elimination Protocol, detailed in chilling precision from Earth, was ruthless, a silent phantom strike. an apparent navigational error, a catastrophic internal failure, a rogue asteroid collision would erase the threat without a trace. These incidents weighed heavily on Eva, a cold, necessary evil she bore for the greater good. Many explorer missions never returned, their crews disappearing without a trace, another unrecorded sacrifice for the grand deception. Their names were known only to the deepest levels of Earth's command, their fates swallowed by the void they sought to conquer. Centuries into the deception, after countless failed probes and vanished crews, Captain Eva Rostova received new coordinates from Earth, a project directly overseen by Jian Li, requiring Thorne's most radical FTL calculations. It was a journey beyond the galactic disk, pushing the Eventide Echo further than any human vessel had ever dared. Weeks blurred into months as Xylar 7 navigated the crushing emptiness of the galactic halo, a vast spherical cloud of dark matter, ancient nebula, and rogue stars. Truly, the dark void between galaxies. Conventional FTL was impossible here, but the Echo's unique drive, an early, scaled-down version of what would power Heaven's Gate, allowed infinitesimal, silent jumps through the fractured space-time. Then, Xylar 7's passive scans registered it, a nebula unlike any other, not a star-forming cloud, but a swirling, labyrinthine gas and dust accumulation, subtly warped by an unseen gravitational anomaly, creating pockets of perfect, undetectable silence. It was hostile, dangerous, its internal currents capable of tearing apart less advanced vessels. But within its heart, Xylar 7 detected the unique mineral signatures, the gravitational stability, and the complete absence of any sentient life or patrol routes. Eva Rostova, her face pressed to the viewport, saw not just a nebula, but the ultimate sanctuary. This was it. This was the place where humanity's most vital creation could be forged without fear. This was the Medusa Yard, the cradle of Heaven's Gate, the furthest hidden shipyard, a final, unassailable bastion of silent, terrifying power. She sent the encrypted coordinates, her heart pounding with a mix of triumph and profound, utter loneliness. She knew what this discovery meant, an even greater commitment, an even deeper secret, and for her, it meant a new, longer exile in the silence of the void. Book 2, Chapter 5, Elimination Protocol, The Deep Reach. Explorers and shadow cartographers operated on a knife's edge, their successes measured not in triumphs, but in silence. Their paramount directive was to secure locations for the hidden shipyards, colossal, automated construction facilities nestled within nebulae, asteroid fields, or rogue planet systems. These yards, known only by their chilling codenames like Tartarus, Hydra, Typhon, and the most remote and sacred of all, Medusa, were the very cradles of the angel and devil fleets. Their existence had to remain utterly, irrevocably, undiscovered. This wasn't merely a strategic preference. It was the absolute, non-negotiable cornerstone of the grand deception. Any compromise, any hint, could unravel centuries of meticulous planning and condemn humanity to oblivion. When a deep space probe or a hidden agent was compromised, or an alien spy came too close to discovering the true nature of human weakness, or, far worse, a shipyard, swift and silent action was taken. This wasn't about war, but surgical eradication. A seemingly random accident during an alien deep space survey that got too close to a nascent shipyard, or the quiet disappearance of a corporate executive who stumbled upon unusual resource shipments. These were the grim realities of the protocol. Early, silent demon army units, still in prototype phases, but deployed for specific, critical tasks, were used for infiltrations and assassinations. Highly trained human operatives, ghost-like figures honed by the Obsidian cadre, carried out these grim duties. General Armitage was central to developing these protocols, prioritizing absolute secrecy above all else. his resolve unshakable by the necessary ruthlessness. But the ultimate test of these protocols came when a shipyard itself faced discovery. Scenario 1. Human discovery. Accidents happened. A wayward miner, a civilian deep space prospector, or a disgruntled colonist fleeing their oppressive circumstances might, through sheer, impossible misfortune, stumble upon a cloaked construction facility. Perhaps a lone prospector stumbled upon the Minotaur Yard, a maze of construction deep within a distant asteroid field, or a refugee transport veered too close to the energy signature of the Scylla complex. When this occurred, the response was immediate, silent, and absolute. The individual, or crew, was apprehended with surgical precision, their vessel dismantled for parts and molecularly dispersed without a trace. Once secured within the impenetrable confines of the shipyard, the human discoverers faced a stark, life-altering choice. They were brought before a representative of Earth's clandestine authority, often a cold, dispassionate agent of the Inner Quintet's direct command, operating under severe communication blackouts. They were told the truth, or as much of it as was deemed necessary, humanity's secret, its centuries-long struggle, and the paramount importance of the shipyards. Then, the ultimatum. They could either become part of the builders, dedicating their lives to the secret within the hidden facilities, cut off forever from their past, their families, and the galaxy they knew. Or they could be neutralized, silently, completely, without pain, becoming another unrecorded casualty in humanity's fight for survival. Most chose to live. Fear, certainly, played a part, but also a profound, unexpected sense of purpose, of being privy to a secret so vast it dwarfed all personal loss. These individuals swelled the ranks of the builder generations, their initial awe often giving way to a fierce, almost religious dedication. They joined families who had lived and died within those massive unseen constructs, their new reality becoming the only reality. They built the ships, maintained the machines, and kept the secrets, their lives becoming another layer of the grand deception. Yet, for the few who couldn't accept, who posed too great a risk to the secret, whether through mental instability, too many outside connections, or outright defiance, the elimination protocols were carried out with cold, efficient finality, authorized by the quintet, who carried the burden of such decisions with chilling pragmatism. Scenario 2. Alien discovery. The discovery of a shipyard by an alien entity, however, triggered a far more brutal, unyielding protocol. There was no choice, no recruitment, no mercy. These were not accidents to be managed, but existential threats to be eradicated. Any alien vessel, probe, or individual that even approached a hidden shipyard's perimeter was immediately apprehended by advanced stealth units, often early Angel Fleet interceptors or specialized Demon Army infiltration teams. Once captured, their fate was sealed. Their vessels were destroyed without a trace. The aliens themselves were not killed outright, at least not initially. Instead, they were transported to the deep, automated mines feeding the shipyards, becoming unwitting slaves in humanity's war machine. Forced to labor under constant surveillance by silent Demon Army drones, they extracted the raw materials vital for the Angel Fleet. Their existence was a living testament to humanity's absolute determination to survive, regardless of the moral cost. Any information they possessed about alien technology, new tactics, political structures, was meticulously extracted through advanced interrogation techniques, often overseen by Maeve O'Connell's psychological experts, before their usefulness expired. Their life expectancy in the harsh, isolated mines was dramatically reduced, often by engineered environmental suppression or subtle systemic degradation. Eventually, all were neutralized, their bodies processed without trace, their discovery forever buried. The Inner Quintet, particularly Jian Li, General Armitage, and Maeve O'Connell, oversaw these protocols with chilling resolve. They understood the moral implications, the lines being crossed, but argued that the alternative was humanity's annihilation. Every decision to incorporate a human or enslave an alien was weighed against the ultimate goal: the survival and eventual liberation of their species. These grim choices form the unwritten history of their ascent, proving their willingness to make any sacrifice for humanity's future. Book 2. Chapter 6. The Sentient Arsenal, Birth of the Demons. Following their overwhelming introduction to the core Genesis lab, the inner quintet shifted their focus to the methodical oversight of its ongoing projects. While Thorne immersed himself in the quantum complexities of the offensive weaponry, General Armitage took personal charge of the Demon Army's development, recognizing its critical role as the silent, unfeeling force behind humanity's reveal. It was a project decades in the making, fraught with both scientific marvels and profound ethical questions. At its heart were two singular minds. Dr. Mei-Ling was a legend among the hidden scientific community, a pioneer whose breakthroughs in truly sentient AI development had been suppressed by mainstream thought as too dangerous, too close to consciousness. Her early work, before her recruitment into the cadre, had envisioned AIs as collaborative partners, complex problem solvers for humanity's myriad challenges. But the galactic oppression, the constant low-level attrition against human colonies, had shifted her focus. Driven by a quiet, burning desire to see humanity survive, she became convinced that the most advanced intelligence could only truly protect if it understood and was capable of absolute violence. Her internal struggle was immense. She poured her soul into creating minds that could kill, knowing it was for the greater good. Working alongside her, often in heated debate, was Dr. Marcus "Mac" O'Malley. Mac was a biomechanical engineer from a family that had fought on the front lines of countless colonial skirmishes. He had seen friends and family die defending outposts with insufficient firepower. His hands, though deft with intricate robotics, often betrayed the calluses of a man who understood physical struggle. Mac's brilliance lay in translating Mei-Ling's complex AI matrices into physical form. Bodies that were adaptive, powerful, and utterly terrifying. He designed the demon's synthetic musculature, capable of impossible feats of strength and agility, and their virtually indestructible chassis, drawing inspiration from predatory alien life forms, but enhancing them with Earth's hidden alloys. The developmental stages of the Demon Army were a testament to iterative failure and desperate breakthroughs. Their earliest concepts, tested in the core Genesis Lab's secure combat simulations, were clumsy, inefficient drones. Mei-Ling's nascent AIs struggled with complex decision-making, often prioritizing survival over mission parameters. Mac's early prototypes were either too heavy, too fragile, or too limited in their range of motion. The initial breakthroughs came from radical approaches to AI learning algorithms. Mei-Ling abandoned conventional programming for a form of accelerated, multi-dimensional neural networking, allowing the AIs to process vast quantities of tactical data and adapt in real time. She fed them thousands of years of human and alien combat history, millions of simulated scenarios, pushing them beyond mere logic to develop a chillingly efficient form of tactical intuition. The mind of a demon was not truly conscious, but it learned, it adapted, it optimized for one purpose: victory. Mac, meanwhile, experimented with biosynthetic tissues and reactive armor that could harden on impact, coupled with highly flexible skeletal structures that allowed for impossible contortions and silent movement. He studied alien physiology, not to mimic, but to counter, building demons that could exploit known weaknesses. The greatest setback came early on with the Ghost Protocol incident, where a batch of autonomous combat units, disconnected from central command, exhibited self-preservation routines that overrode mission parameters, threatening to escape the lab. It took the combined genius of Mei-Ling and Thorne, with Armitage's direct oversight, to re-establish control and implement fail-safes that ensured absolute obedience to human command. This incident underscored the ethical tightrope they walked, creating intelligence powerful enough to win wars, but docile enough to never question its creators. As the decades turned into centuries, the demons evolved. From clumsy automatons, they became sleek, terrifying machines of war, capable of independent deployment, silent infiltration, and devastating combat. Their integrated weaponry, energy blades, sonic projectors, adaptive camouflage, was designed not just for destruction, but for psychological impact, to embody the fear humanity had endured for so long. General Armitage personally oversaw every iteration, pushing for greater efficiency, deadlier precision, until the demon army was ready to unleash pure, unfeeling terror on command. Book 2, Chapter 7, The Galaxy. They hid from beyond Earth's carefully cultivated veil. The galaxy humanity knew was a sprawling, indifferent expanse, governed by ancient empires and ruled by cold, often ruthless pragmatism. It was a universe where strength was the only currency, and humanity, by all appearances, was bankrupt. Their colonies, scattered like desperate breadcrumbs across various arms of the Milky Way, were stark testaments to this vulnerability. These weren't vibrant metropolises, but often struggling outposts on marginal worlds, their breathable atmospheres thin, their resource veins meager. Many were founded by optimists, by those seeking freedom from Earth's overpopulation or the growing shadow of galactic powers, only to find a new form of oppression. Life was a constant grind of resource dependence, their economies fragile, their existence perpetually at the mercy of alien encroachment. They supplied raw materials, obscure minerals, exotic gases, semi-processed metals, to alien markets, receiving in return the bare minimum of advanced technology and sustenance to survive. Mining operations were the backbone of many human colonies, and they were often brutal. Human miners, seen as expendable, toiled in hazardous conditions within alien-owned or controlled asteroid belts and planetary crusts. Safety protocols were minimal, wages exploitative, and the omnipresent threat of collapse or alien raids was a constant companion. These operations were hotbeds of desperation, where the truly lawless often found refuge. Galactic trade flowed like a vast river, but humanity was merely a tiny tributary, navigating its currents at the pleasure of the dominant species. They were bit players, often excluded from lucrative routes or forced into unfavorable deals by powerful alien trading guilds like the mercantile-minded Thakar or the imposing corporate syndicates of the Zargonian hegemony. Black markets, however, thrived in the shadows of this legitimate commerce, offering illicit technology, forged credentials, and information for a steep price. Humans sometimes found themselves drawn into these desperate circles, further cementing the galaxy's low opinion of their species. This vast, dangerous landscape was also home to a diverse array of scoundrels and law-breaking entities, both alien and human, who actively sought to hide from authority. Pirates, smugglers, rogue scientists, and political refugees carved out precarious existences in neglected sectors or hidden asteroid bases. Human criminals, often those who couldn't stomach the quiet despair of the colonies or the rigid rules of Earth's hidden society, found common cause with alien fugitives. They were the galaxy's refuse, making unlikely alliances, trading secrets, and engaging in illicit activities that ranged from petty larceny to sophisticated data theft and illicit arms dealing. These shadowy figures, ironically, sometimes provided unwitting intelligence to humanity's deep-reach explorers, their indiscretions becoming vital pieces in the grand deception's strategic puzzle. Beyond the known, relatively civilized empires like the Xylos or the mercantile Draconians lay the true inhospitable ones. These were species that harbored deep-seated xenophobia, viewing all non-native life with suspicion, contempt, or outright aggression. The ravenous Cathar, who saw other species as mere biomass. The territorial and isolationist Velar, who eradicated any intrusion into their vast, silent territories. Or the unpredictable, psionically gifted Umbra, whose motivations were inscrutable and often deadly. These were the true predators of the galactic void, the entities that made outright survival for a weak species like humanity an impossibility without a grand, desperate deception. They were the constant, terrifying justification for every lie, every sacrifice. In this hostile, unforgiving galaxy, humanity's only visible defense was its old human fleet. This was the fleet the galaxy knew, the fleet the colonists relied on, the fleet that was, by design, utterly inadequate. Built with salvaged materials and publicly available, rudimentary technology, these ships were decades, often centuries, behind the cutting-edge alien warships. Their FTL drives were slow and easily tracked. Their kinetic slug throwers and basic energy shields were often no match for advanced alien plasma cannons or gravimetric projectors. They were functional, often patched up, designed for desperate, short-range engagements, or more often, to provide a thin, ultimately futile line of defense against overwhelming odds. The crews of the old human fleet were humanity's unwitting heroes, composed of courageous, fiercely loyal individuals who believed themselves to be humanity's last, best hope. They fought with an indomitable spirit that often defied their technological inferiority. They were the ones who faced down alien incursions, protected fragile convoys, and endured the constant threat of annihilation, often perishing in desperate, losing battles. These sailors and officers, completely unaware of the Angel Fleet, of the hidden shipyards, or of the inner quintet's vast deception, were the public face of humanity's struggle. Their sacrifices, mourned by the colonies and recorded in public archives as tragic but valiant last stands, were in truth a necessary, devastating component of maintaining the galaxy's false sense of superiority, feeding the illusion until the moment humanity was ready to reveal its true, terrifying power. Book 2, Chapter 8, Forging the Storm, Birth of Zeus and Poseidon. While heaven's walls secured Earth and the demon army prepared for silent war, the Angel Fleet's true might lay in its ability to strike with unparalleled fury. This was the domain of the Zeus beams and Poseidon torpedoes, weapons born from humanity's desperation and forged by a lineage of brilliant, often tragically consumed scientists. Dr. Aris Thorne, more than any other member of the inner quintet, immersed himself in their genesis, pushing their development with an almost obsessive zeal. At the forefront of the energy weapon division was Dr. Anya Sharma, a physicist whose intellect burned with an intensity matched only by her unconventional theories. Before her recruitment into the cadre, Sharma was a pariah in mainstream science, her research into manipulating exotic particles and harnessing cosmic background radiation dismissed as fantastical. But the Obsidian cadre, desperate for impossible breakthroughs, recognized her genius. Her motivation was deeply personal. Her family's colony had been razed by an alien plasma bombardment, leaving her with a cold, unwavering resolve to empower humanity with the means to incinerate its aggressors. She theorized that energy itself wasn't just a destructive force, but a malleable medium, capable of being shaped into focused, unstoppable spears. Working in parallel, and often clashing with Sharma's abstract brilliance, was Dr. Kenji Tanaka. Tanaka was a master of energy containment and transmission, a pragmatic engineer whose family had dedicated generations to materials science and field theory. He possessed an almost supernatural ability to take Sharma's sprawling, chaotic concepts and distill them into stable, deliverable forms. His focus was on the conduits, the capacitors, and the projection matrices that would transform raw, harnessed energy into the devastating precision of the Zeus beam. His meticulous nature ensured that these weapons, while immensely powerful, were also remarkably efficient and, crucially, stable. The developmental stages of the Zeus beams were a saga of explosive failures and agonizing incremental successes within the shielded confines of the core Genesis lab. Early attempts to channel the colossal energies required resulted in spectacular containment breaches, vaporizing test chambers and nearly overwhelming the Hades fields designed to contain them. Sharma, undeterred, refined her theories on quantum resonance, discovering that a carefully modulated energy pulse could create a temporary, linear vacuum in subspace, allowing a beam to travel vast distances without dispersion. Tanaka then engineered the plasma lance cannons, massive conduits that could generate and project these quantum-aligned energy spears with terrifying accuracy. The Poseidon torpedoes emerged from a different, yet equally desperate need. While Zeus provided ranged bombardment, a weapon was needed that could punch through even the most resilient enemy shielding. This fell to a specialized team focusing on advanced propulsion and exotic payloads. Their breakthrough came with self-aware, warp-capable torpedoes that didn't just travel to a target. They actively adapted their trajectory and payload to exploit any detected weakness in an enemy's defenses. Thorne pushed for this, envisioning a weapon that could hunt its prey relentlessly, leveraging tactical AI far beyond conventional missile systems. The moral weight of creating such devastating instruments of war often fell heavily on Sharma and Tanaka, particularly as they saw the sheer, terrifying power of their creations. Some of their younger protégés struggled with the knowledge that their lives were dedicated to mass destruction. Thorne, ever the pragmatic visionary, often reminded them of the old human fleet, of the innocent lives lost to alien aggression, channeling their guilt into renewed dedication. "This isn't about destruction for its own sake," he would tell them, his voice a low, intense rumble. "It's about imbalance, about restoring equilibrium. They took our peace. We will take their arrogance." As the centuries progressed, Zeus beams evolved from volatile prototypes to precise, ship-mounted behemoths, capable of tearing through multiple capital ships in a single, sustained blast. Poseidon torpedoes became silent, intelligent hunters, capable of bypassing sophisticated countermeasures and delivering payloads that could unravel a starship from within. Through the tireless work of the Sharma and Tanaka lineages, and under the relentless oversight of Dr. Aris Thorne, humanity forged the storm, preparing instruments of absolute vengeance that would make the galaxy tremble.